And the other clothes, okay, got it. The other clothing that you see beside just my size t-shirts that are like the 5 and 6X t-shirts, that
Uh-huh.
is stuff like my mother purchased or one of my sisters purchased. I didn't go clothes shopping. I mean, there was not a dressing room that I wanted to get my fat butt in. I just didn't want to do it, you
Yeah.
know.
Here you guys
And
take
I
a
mean,
Fonda, while you speak, I'm just gonna share screen and show them your
okay,
pictures. So just keep talking.
yeah, that's this week. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, it's crazy.
Let me
When I
get your
started
befores.
Plexus in 2009, I mean, yeah, in 2012, July 2012, I started Plexus. Now, I can talk about the medical stuff I had and not get anybody in trouble, right? You know, with the compliance thing.
Right, because
Uh,
it's just recorded. We're not live.
Okay, good. Whenever I mean, you know, you can see I don't think you can Photoshop them kind of cheeks. But anyway,
Right. It's
I-
pretty
I'm
unlikely that
just
you're gonna Photoshop
saying, you
that.
know. But whenever I started in 2000, July of 2012, I started out of sheer desperation. When I got that shirt right there, I filled it out. That
Really?
y'all got I filled that bad boy out. My boobies and my arms and stuff filled that shirt out. And my fat back. I still got fat back, y'all. Okay. Let me just say that clear. I still have fat rolls. And I went in June and talked to the plastic surgeon. So, God willing, in January, we start the skin and fat roll thing, you know, to kind of conquer
Yeah.
some of that. And that double turkey chin thing I got going on right there, too, because that ain't going away. I was happily married. Okay. I mean, and a lot of people are like, well, if you were so happy, why was you so fat? Well, I was so fat because I like to cook and eat, you know? And I mean, let's just be honest, you know, I was feeding my face, you know, my daddy called it elbow-itis, you know? And I can laugh about it now, but I'm going to tell you right now, I couldn't talk openly about being fat without getting extremely angry or so depressed that 12 donuts didn't fix me, you know? And I just couldn't talk about being overweight. I just, even with my doctor, I would just tell him he needs to shut the hell up. I didn't want to hear it, you know? I mean,
So
and
what was the
my,
moment? What was the
well,
moment that changed your mind?
July the 26th, a girlfriend of mine had told me back like in April or May about Plexus. And my exact words to her was, and she ain't in it no more. My exact words to her was, girl, I can't believe you called me with some fat sucking, money making scheme. I said, girl, don't you know me and Oprah both have did everything. I said, and me and Oprah both are still fat. I said, so no, I don't want to hear about it. So she apologized for calling me and that she loved me. And I told her I loved her too. No hard feelings, you know. And she was like, yeah, you know. Well, and it was so crazy because July the 26th, I was under pain management. Doctor had fibromyalgia. I had brittle bones. I mean, like every year I got a bone scan, and every year my bones kept getting worse and worse and worse. And then I had fibromyalgia. I had arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis. My right hand, in one of those pictures, you can see my right hand has a brace on it. And it was because I couldn't bend my thumb. And this finger here, can you see? These fingers didn't move. It was so painful. It was like this area of my hand was like broken. I mean, I really thought I had broke it. And the doctor's like, you wish it was broke. It's arthritis, you know, rheumatoid arthritis. And so when I was on pain management for years because of all the other ailments, and July the 26th, I had went to the doctor and got some test results back that I had done. And because I was having another ailment being diagnosed, you know, because every 3 months I had
Course.
a new ailment and a new
Right.
pill at it, you know. And he told me that I was ate up literally from the back of my throat to my large intestines. and my bowels with ulcers from my medication that I had been on all them years. And that he showed me a picture of an ulcer, and it was the size of a quarter. It was bloody, massive, ugly. And I'm looking at it, it's in color, I'm looking at it, I'm like, well, how magnified is that? Because I'm being horrified by this picture. And he says, no, Miss Fonda, that's not magnified. That's actually how big it is in your stomach. Oh. And I looked at him, and I actually cursed, the redneck in me just let it go. And I told him, I said, you're joking, right? I said, that's not in my body. He said, this is the worst one, and I suggest that we do emergency surgery to fix this. And I told him, now, y'all, I'm 336 pounds, living on a CPAP machine. I can't walk more than from one door to another without just needing to fan myself. I was winded so bad. And here he is telling me that I need emergency surgery. And I had my gallbladder removed, or my appendix, one of them, because I ain't got nothing left up in there. When how everything happened, it was like, okay, he's wanting to put me to sleep again. And don't he remember me having surgery 5 years ago? It took him like 6 hours to wake me up. And the horrible part about that is my brain was awake. I was feeling everything they did to me for those 5 hours, 6 hours. And my husband was crying, my heart, just wake up. I love you. My heart, wake up. I love you. My heart, wake up. And I'm screaming in my head, would y'all please quit torturing me? I am awake. I am awake, but I wasn't. I was non-responsive. And so I told him, I said, I'm going home. And he told me, he said, well, no, you can't leave. He said, what if you die? I said, then I'll be dead. I said, I'm not staying. So he made me sign a paper that I left, and refused emergency surgery. Well, of course, I call my husband. And by the time I get home, my husband's on the phone with my mother. And they ganging up to bring me back to the hospital to do this surgery. And I'm telling them, I'm not going. I said, I'm just not. I said, y'all, I will die. I said, do y'all understand me? I will die. I said, I don't mean that. I don't mean it facetiously. I will die. And so I started praying. And I don't mean to sound ugly for people that don't believe in God, but I believe in God, and I give God every glory. I just give him glory for my life that I have today. And I started praying. I hear my husband outside on the phone with my mom crying. And he's telling Miss Bonnie, I can't live without her. You got to talk some sense in that hard-headed girl of yours, And he's saying that, and I'm praying, and I'm like, God, just heal my body. I'll stay fat. I don't care about being fat. Just heal my body. I'm tired of feeling sick. I'm tired of all these medicines. Because, y'all, I slept. Sometimes I'd sleep 15 hours a day. That's no life. I mean, that's no life. And it was just so bad. And as I was praying, I'm not saying it to be jokingly, because this is exactly how it happened. I was praying for the Lord to touch my body and heal me. Just touch me and heal me. Leave me fat, I'm okay, but touch me and heal me. And honestly, I thought of a pink cloud. Now, you gotta understand, I'm on my knees by my bed, and that was hard because that fat chick couldn't hardly get up off her knees, whenever I do that. And I just got angry. And, the Bible says you can get angry, but don't sin. I didn't sin, but I got angry, and I asked God. I said, God, I'm asking you for help, and you telling me that there's a pink drink out there that I need to get, and that's my answer. I said, you're kidding, right? And I sat back on the floor, and I just cried. And I'll never forget that feeling of total hopelessness that I felt like a diet. He's making me want to do a diet. That's my saving grace. Y'all, he was so good to me that night. For those of you that don't know, I've lost 185 pounds so far. 2 years into my plexus business, and it built itself. Yes, God's good, y'all. God's good.
Amen.
2 years into my plexus business, my husband of 16 years died of lung cancer unexpectedly. Within 72 days, he got sick and was dead. He was my life. When I tell you, he was not just my husband, he was my best friend. He was everything. And he worked in the oil field. And you know, in the oil field, when your husband makes big money, you have big bills, you know. And we had big bills. And I was so blessed because in the 2 years that I had been building my business with Plexus, or it had been building itself around me, I when he passed away, my Plexus income kept me from having to get a job, like a real job, and go back into the workforce. Now, when he passed away, I was still over 200 pounds. I think when he passed away, I was like probably like 220, 230, because I had lost right at 100 and something pounds when he passed away. And so how everything happened, for the first 2 years that he had passed away, I kind of just went into a real bad depression. My plexus, I'm not even gonna lie about it. My plexus, you know, income suffered, you know, but not to the point where I lost my income. Because in the 9 years I've been with Plexus, every month I've been with Plexus, I've got a check. I mean, every month. And there was checks coming in that I didn't even know how I was making them, but I was making checks. And whenever in 2019, my little sister posted a picture of me on Facebook. It was my mother's birthday in August. And it's me in that pink shirt that I sent you that says love or something like that across the front of it. I had done lost 100 pounds, you know, at that point. And when I saw that picture that my little sister posted on Facebook, I was so angry. And I told her, I said, take the picture off of Facebook. I don't want to see it. I said, I look depressed and pathetic. And she says, untag yourself, but I ain't taking the picture down. And I was like, sisters, you know, you can't kill them. You go to prison, you know. I mean, so I told her, I said, okay, whatever. So I untagged myself. And I once again prayed and I said, Lord, help me get my mind right about where I'm at in my life. I am blessed. I am blessed. I am blessed. You know, I still didn't have to get a regular job because of my Plexus money. And I still, you know, I mean, I was trying to be happy, but I didn't know how to be happy. And so in August of 2019, I rededicated my life to Christ, and I rededicated my future to Plexus. And I started exercising. I started working out. Of course, my Plexus business is growing really good. And
Awesome.
yes, I'm very pleased with that. And I tell my people, they ask me, Miss Fonda, how do people just come to you? Well, first of all, I'm a people person. I like talking. And
We didn't notice that.
oh, girl, you done met me in person. You know, I'm probably the loudest person in the freaking room. So, I mean, you know, and it's not that I want to be the center of attention. I just like talking, you know, I mean, and so how everything happened, I started truly exercising and learning self-discipline. But the biggest thing I've learned since then is self-love. Don't take yourself for granted. And don't quit putting yourself in the back of the line. Make yourself a priority in your own life. Be a walking, talking billboard of what you believe. Christ-like, yes, you do that. Plexus-like, yes, you do that too. You know, you find a happy place for you mentally, and the sky is truly the limit. You will soar. And people tell me all the time, you've been through so much. You've been through so much. And I mean, you know, health wise, you know, having a heart attack and dying 3 times, that's a lot to deal with mentally, you know. And just other health issues. And then, my husband dying. And then, of course, like an idiot, I remarried after he passed away. That was like, that's another Oprah. Okay. And so, I'm happily single, and I know what I want in life. I know what kind of people I want around me. And I really believe with the plexus how the products are amazing. If someone tells me the products didn't work for me, and I asked them, well, when did you order them? And they're, oh, well, I ordered them back, June the 20th. Okay. How much do you have left? Oh, I got probably 20 sticks left. Okay, it's 30 in the bag, honey. You did 10 days and you thought you was just gonna drop 50 pounds. I mean, that don't work that way, you know. And I try to explain to people that you can out eat the benefits of plexus. I
That's a
mean,
good way to put it.
yeah.
That's a good way to put it.
Plexus is gonna heal your body. It's gonna make your guts healthy. But if you elbowing everything in right here, your guts is just healthy, processing all the fat carbs that you putting in your body. I mean, plexus is going to make your guts healthy, but it's not going to help you lose weight if you're still overeating. I don't think anything nowadays will make you skinny if you're still overeating. And when people tell me, oh, well, I tried plexus, so I went and had a weight loss surgery, I just write their name down, because I know in 6 months when they sick as a dog, they're going to need plexus to help them live. Okay. Now, this is something that I don't post about because it's very personal for our family. My daughter had went in 2 years ago, right at 2.5 years ago, to have her gallbladder removed. And somehow or another, they nicked her pancreas. Now, I found out you can't live without a pancreas. Okay. You can't live with a heart. You can't hardly live with a sick one. Okay. Y'all like my cup.
We love it.
My daughter had that made for me.
Beautiful.
So how everything happened, we at the hospital, my baby stayed in the hospital like 3 months on IVs and couldn't keep water down. They was trying to get Crystal Light down her, and that wouldn't even stay. Our pink drink, the little short stick, my baby could drink 2 of those a day. 2 of those a day she'd sip on. And Dr. Alexander asked me, he was like, what is that she's drinking? I said, it's plexus. And he just, I know, I've heard all about plexus. I said, well, if you're going to down it and say she can't have it, you're fired. I said, because right now you have her hooked up to 2 IVs, one in her arm and one in her leg, keeping her alive. They were giving her the liquids that people are in comas. That's what they was giving my baby because their surgeon messed her up. Of course, we're not lawsuit people. So of course we just wanted my baby to be alive. And that's what we did. She's alive. But y'all, plexus, I jokingly say it's manna from God, but it really, really is a miracle the way that stuff heals your body from the inside out. If you look at my Facebook, I'm all the time talking about plexus and the different things that plexus has done for my body. And I try to stay as compliant as possible. People can't believe I'm 56. And after I have my little turkey chin off right here, I'm going to look really cute for 56. Okay. And I'm so excited about that. Yeah, I'm vain. Okay. And I was vain when I was 336 pounds. Okay. That's a bad combo, fat and vain. I'm going to just tell y'all that right now. That's a real bad combo. It really is. But, so anyway, being a walking, talking billboard for what you believe in is the only way to build this business. You have to use the products. You have to be able to tell somebody, like the Boost stuff that we used to have. I couldn't stand that junk. And people would ask me, "Oh, you like Boost?" Nope, I don't. I don't use it. You're welcome to try it. It's got that 60-day money back guarantee. I know a bunch of people that love it, but I hate it. But the Accelerator Plus, because I started out with the regular Slim and just regular Accelerator.
Me
When
too.
they came in, with all the new improved stuff, I was like, I knew it was better because I had the old stuff,
Mhm.
and I kept seeing people gripe, "Oh, well, they changed this." Well, it's usually for the better. Change is for the better,
With Plexus,
and
they're always trying to improve it.
exactly. And
Mhm.
I mean, you know how nowadays, how everything is, everybody is always, and I don't care who you are, they looking for the bigger, better deal. It's always greener somewhere else. Well, I'm old enough to know that if you water your own grass, your grass stays pretty and green, you know. And I mean, I was raised on a farm. We cut hay all the time. Believe me, I know.
Hey,
And
Fonda,
there's nothing better than Plexus.
could you speak to the apprehension that people have? Almost every single person that comes into this business has the apprehension of being bold and loud, like you're speaking about, like you're telling people, go preach it, be passionate, tell everybody.
Yeah.
But as you know, most people, that's their fear. And it's the number one way to make it successful, but it's also the number one fear.
Well,
Because when you step into something that in that manner, you are basically telling the world, this is where I stand 100%. And when you stand somewhere 100%, you're bound to find people who are going to nitpick versus when you dip your toe
yes.
in. If somebody nitpicks, you can pull your toe back out and you can be like, oh, it's no big deal. I was just thought I'd mention it. What would you tell people who
No.
are apprehensive about that because of other people's judgment?
I think the best part, the thing that I would tell somebody is, if, because you follow me on Facebook, you read my posts, I know I talk very openly about my closet eating, my drive-through eating, and eating a Whopper meal and throwing the evidence out the window. Used to just litter because I was ashamed, then go home and cook supper and eat supper with my family, So if someone is doing Plexus, all right, if they have the products, they're using the products, and they have the intention of building a business, they can't be ashamed of what they're doing.
Yeah.
Okay. They can't be like, I got this cute little pink drink right here and I'd like you to try it. But if you don't like it, I'm okay with that. Guess what? I'm not okay with that because I know what Plexus will do for your body. I know what Plexus will do for your mental state if you give it half a chance,
Mm-hmm.
I know too many women that hot flashes was cooking them alive, and they got on our Plexus products and they have a normal life now. Now I don't have none of that because that was all taken out a long time ago. So, and I'm not on hormones either. People all the time, well, what kind of hormone you taking? I'm like, Plexus, and they're like, oh, you so happy. What nerve pill you on? Plexus, I mean, you got to stand firm in what you doing, or you will be just like every other roller coaster ride. You ain't gonna make it,
Yeah, sure.
And I mean, you really have to believe. First of all, be knowledgeable of the products. You have to be that, because if you approach somebody to sell them something and you don't know what you selling, you ain't gonna sell it. You go to a car lot to buy a vehicle and your salesman does not know what that button right here is. You don't want him selling you the car because he's supposed to be able to tell you what that button does, and that's how I am. When somebody asks me about, when I get off here, I got a girl waiting for me to do a live Zoom with her so I can help her sign up. you know. And I told her we was talking before, and that's why I was having so much trouble logging in, because I had clicked off of talking with her and tried to click on yours, and it was messing up. And so, you have to be firm. You have to be firm in your beliefs. And I don't want to compare plexus to a religion, but you have to be firm in your beliefs. I know God saves me, and I know He heals people. I know plexus saved me, and I know it healed my body. And I
Yeah.
believe that God opened that door for that to happen.
Yeah.
You know,
You
and
probably don't know this about me, but I actually found plexus through a prayer as well. And I wrote it down. I wrote it down, and I still have the prayer to this day. It was very strange.
girl,
And it was a time frame when I was nowhere near as Christian as I am now, or as
right.
much of a God believer. But I mean, I'm sure you've heard the stories before. I definitely have heard multiple people say they've prayed to God and plexus was
Hey, I'm gonna
shown
tell
to
you,
them in a way that is not, it's not just
normal,
random. It's not,
right,
it's like the same experience that you had. It's very interesting.
right.
I also want to clarify for anyone who might listen to this in the future, like the knowledge part about your products and that kind of thing. Just keep in mind when you're starting out, your
Yes,
sponsor is your knowledge, your videos are your knowledge. And but I think what Fonda is speaking to is accurate in the sense that long term you need to know what you're talking about, you need to know your products. So it's the longer term investment in education, but in the beginning it is definitely allowing your sponsor to piggyback with you as you build the business, so they can act as your brain until your brain has the knowledge. So just a clarification on that.
yeah. Well,
And then, oh, go
when
ahead.
I'm sorry, when I first started, I had mountains of ladies like Miss Sheila Medina that did, live talks all the time. Then I had Miss Sarah Marble over there that did live talks all the time. My diamond, Miss Allison Ford Bro. I mean, Allison, she was such a teacher, But one thing Allison installed in me at a very, very beginning was learn, set the example of learning for your team.
Yeah.
Which the videos, now we got this amazing back office that is just with the
Right.
videos. Oh my God. Y'all, I plug that in my car, and I have my stuff plugged in my car that I'll turn on a video and listen to it as I go down the road. Of course, I'm not getting to watch it, but you getting to hear them talk. And whenever you do get to rewatch it and see the visuals and all, I screenshot a lot of stuff and keep it.
Me
So,
too.
because I hate taking notes. I hate taking notes. I hated taking notes in high school. I wasn't good at it. And so I screenshot a lot of things, and I am a hands-on visual kind of learner. There's other people that can study and study and study and get it. I can't. I got to hear it and live it and all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
But the back office, I know our uplines, and it is something, and especially our groups, our immediate groups that are, for us, you can ask a question in there, and within seconds, somebody has answered it or gave you the information file where you could go get the information you needed if they wasn't exactly sure,
The bottom line is when you and I started, there was nothing but random YouTube videos from other jewels who had
Yes.
put out trainings. And if we were able to make it to a jewel level or an upper level, such as Senior Ruby, and do that off of random videos, then most
Yes.
certainly the people who are joining right now with the plethora of information. And in fact, I will say that when they first started throwing that stuff in back office, I almost got the feeling like, wow, is that going to be too much information and like bog people down? Because we went from
Yeah.
having no information to having like a mega library of information.
It's
Even for
true.
me, it was overwhelming. I was like, holy cow,
Yeah.
all the information's good, but it's a lot.
Yeah.
But really, I believe that. And I believe that our new ambassador academy guides section, I put my hand on a Bible. If somebody joined this business and went through that new ambassador academy guide section and had absolutely nobody, no sponsor to ever help them with anything, they could make it anywhere
Yeah.
they wanted to go with that. That is so well done. So
Yeah.
it's a great thing. I also wanted to really quick touch on, I have one more question for you that I wanted to touch on what you said about loving yourself. I think that is such a critical part of this journey that I think a lot of people come in definitely not expecting that is going to be magnified in the way that it is in a journey in multi-level marketing. It really almost is a requirement of the position. And I think for myself, when I came into this business, I knew I had some things to work on, but I thought I kind of liked myself and I was doing okay. And I've definitely found along the way this absolutely very difficult journey of learning how to love myself, but ultimately probably the most beautiful gift I've ever been given. It really outweighs everything else about this journey, including my paycheck.
Right.
It's been such a freedom to find that self-love. But the other part of where I say that people get hung up and sometimes quit or look over and say, well, maybe the grass is greener is over there, is that they falter in their business and think that it is the process. And what it really is finding that self-love, because once you have that, you have the ability to pour love into other people at a very different level of leadership. And when you get to that point is when the rest of your team can really start to develop themselves. So, anyone, again, listening to this in the future, if they're going to listen to the recording, I really want to hear, like, if you're in that place where you're a little frustrated, definitely incorporate the self-love aspect and be patient with yourself and show compassion, because it takes time to get through all that stuff.
Yeah. There's one more thing. I know it lasts a little longer than usual, I'm sure. But one thing I want to say is a word that I had to face since that August 2019 photo that my sister did me. Self-sabotage. Because I found
Famous
out
for it.
Yeah. I didn't even know that's just some word I never used, or a phrase or something I never even thought about, and I figured out between that August to December that I couldn't be somebody else's friend. I couldn't be anybody else's mentor. I couldn't be a leader because I hated myself. How am I going to be a friend to somebody and tell them how good life is going to be if I'm to the point where I have sunk myself so low in a depression that, you hide a bunch by a fake smile, and I got a pretty smile, I mean, everybody thinks you all happy, and inside you just want to tell them, I wish you'd go away, and self-sabotage will kill your journey. And Plexus products cannot fix that. That's something you really.
If this is your issue, I highly recommend that you get the book, The Big Leap, LEAP. It's absolutely excellent. Actually, I sent it to one of the gals on the call right now. And it was given to me by a very expensive coach that I hired one time. And that's the book that I was like, wow, he sent me this little bitty book like this, but it was worth a lot. And it talks a lot about self-sabotage, and it described in the book exactly what I was doing to myself, which is an unusual thing. I actually self-sabotaged myself into a state of physical illness, which is weird. Gwen is on the call right now. She's seen me do this, almost embarrassing. But That's actually common with people at very high executive level or positions or success. As a
Right.
form of sabotage, you make yourself physically ill. And so it's a great book
I
if you're
believe it.
dealing with that. I have one final question for you. What would you say is the number one thing you did to bring yourself to a place of self-love?
Self-discipline. I had to learn what self-discipline truly was all about.
With
I
regard to
used
your talking to yourself, the
it,
thoughts you had in
no
your mind? No? Okay.
food. No, I didn't have all that. I used food as my crutch. Okay. When I was happy, I celebrated with donuts. You'll see in my post, I talk about donuts all the time. I love them. Okay. When I was depressed, I'd cook real food, rice and gravy, cornbreads and beans and, very fattening foods, if when I just like that. I had no self-discipline. When I felt sorry for myself and the pity party started, I used food, you know. Now, what was the pity party about? I don't even remember because I always liked myself that I thought, but I let, and I really didn't care what other people thought about me. I didn't ever let that really, factor into my life. It was just life in general
Okay.
that I
Gotcha.
was letting beating me up. Um, and in 2019, I came to grips with a lot of emotional trauma of that I had just buried, and losing my husband was the biggest thing, because he was amazing. He was a perfect husband and we had a really good marriage. And I think once I gave myself the okay to be happy without him, that I couldn't replace him. And God had left me alive for a reason. And I know that reason is my 3 grandbabies because I adore them and they adore me. And we have fun together. And I know that if I wasn't in their lives, they would have a vacant spot. Don't get me wrong, my daughter and son-in-law are amazing parents. I mean, she went down Chick-fil-A tonight. They was all happy. And I mean, but I know that that's my reason to be able to be alive and be healthy. And my
So,
2 grandsons don't remember me fat.
which is okay. So the self-discipline part of it, I want to make a comment about that, and we'll probably have to wrap this up. We usually do a 30-minute call. But so in your case, it was you were feeling sorry for yourself and you're using food just to manage the daily situations in life and the poor woe is me moments going through your mind. And that's a really, really
Exactly.
important factor because all of us have that area in our life that we do the same thing. We have that, or we might not eat food over it, but we have the poor woe is me factor. My life is so exhausting. My life doesn't have enough time. I'm stretched a million different ways. My dad died. My brother had set on fire in my circumstances. And that is that goes hand in hand with victimhood, right? And it's another thing
Yeah.
that my life coach that I hired, he and I talked a lot about was when you can turn off victimhood and take responsibility for absolutely every single aspect of your life, every outcome, every decision that's made creates those outcomes, including thoughts you have go through your mind and
Yeah.
words you have come out of your mouth and actions that you take, like overeating. And in
It's
other
so
people's
true.
case, it's something else.
So
So that's
true.
a super critical aspect of finding long-term success in any area
Yeah.
of your life is recognizing that you need to first look in the mirror and accept that you're the only person that can make the change and you're the only person that can accept what's going on in your life and change the way that you look at it, right? Change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change.
And it's
you know,
hard.
that concept. It is very hard.
It's hard.
That's why that's
hard.
part of this journey that can be a real tricky thing. But once you do it, it's incredibly beautiful.
It is.
So I'm glad that you were able to share that.
Self-discipline changed my life in 2019. It really, and of course, I've learned how to exercise. I mean, like really
Yes, you did.
exercise.
You're
I'm so
doing
excited.
amazing.
You saw
You're
I
doing
made it
amazing.
to 25 floors on that stupid stepping machine. I'm so
Yeah.
excited.
25 floors she did on the stepping machine. That was today, right? Or yesterday?
Yes.
Today,
No,
yeah.
but today.
I get lost in what I'm looking at Facebook. Just so you all
Good
know
for
too,
you.
Fonda is an upline side sister to us. We don't have uplines on our calls very often, Fonda, because there's so many people between me and Allison. I think there's like
Oh, okay.
17 levels between me and Allison, and she's
Okay.
my next active jewel above me. So I don't
Okay. I think
know
I'm
my
like number
Plexus family
6.
as well. What was
I
that?
think I'm number 6 under her. I think I'm
Okay.
number 6 under Alice.
Directly to her?
I believe so. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Who's your sponsor?
My sponsor quit probably about 2 months after she joined.
Oh, yeah. So
but
you have
I'm
nobody
right-
active?
Oh yeah, Vicky Murphy. I'm
Okay,
under.
yep.
I'm Vicky Murphy, and then her husband. But I
Gotcha.
think how it is under Allison. I think Vicky had explained it, or Allison did that. Vicky's like number, because so many people quit, you know, and
Mhm.
I think
Well, we
Vicky's
went through
like,
some crazy times in 16 and everything, so it was
yeah,
rough.
yeah, it was good.
But it's nice to have somebody from our actual upline team on.
Well, thank you for asking me. I was
the
real. I
call.
felt privileged. Honestly, I did.
Yes,
I
well, we
love
are-
your
appreciate it.
journey. I love your journey. It's just
Thank
beautiful.
you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I've learned to fall in love with it myself. There were moments where I was like, this isn't very fun. But yeah, it's been amazing, and it's beautiful right now, and it is so worth some of the, little tweaks that we have to make along the way on a personal level
Yeah.
and within our business. It's really beautiful. So I think we better wrap it up here. Does anyone have any questions, by the way? I really haven't opened it to the floor. Does
I
anyone
just
have
have one question that I might have missed it in the beginning. What is her rank? You said she's
senior,
up
senior Ruby.
senior Ruby. Okay.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And thank you.
Love,
I love your
love my
story.
place.
Thank you for sharing.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. God's good, honey.
Yes,
I
he
mean,
is.
he's good. Yes.
Does anyone else have any questions? All right. We were going to talk about the comp plan a little bit this week and open up for questions, but since it got a little bit late, we'll do that next Tuesday. Because we still have next Tuesday before the first hits and the comp plan change hits. So we'll open that up next week. Thank you so much again, Fonda. I really appreciate it. You have a great night.
All right. Thank you. I'm
Take care.
leaving.
All right.
Bye,
Bye.
ladies.
Bye, y'all.